Okay, so there's probably someone in your life right now who makes you feel crazy, like actually crazy. They say something that sounds reasonable, but somehow you end up feeling guilty even though you didn't do anything wrong. They ask you for favors, but when you need something, they're suddenly busy. They twist everything you say until you're apologizing for stuff that wasn't even your fault. And the worst part? You can see it happening and you still don't know how to stop it. I spent years being the easiest target on the planet for manipulators because I thought being a good person meant letting people walk all over me. Turns out there are 5 things you can do that make manipulators completely lose their power over you. And the beautiful part is you don't have to fight. You don't have to argue. You don't even have to call them out. You just do these 5 things and watch them either change completely or disappear. Either way, you win. So let me tell you exactly what I learned the hard way, so you don't have to waste years like I did. Here's the first thing, and it's going to sound too simple to work, but I promise you, it's devastating to manipulators. Stop showing them your emotions. Like, completely stop. When they say something designed to make you upset, you give them nothing. Your face stays blank. Your voice stays flat. You become the most boring person they've ever tried to manipulate. Because here's what most people don't understand: manipulators feed on your reactions. That's the whole game. They say something mean or guilt trippy or passive aggressive, and then they watch your face. They're looking for that moment when your eyes change or your voice cracks or you start defending yourself. That reaction? That's their win. That's what they wanted. Every time you show them they got to you, you're basically handing them a trophy and saying, "Congratulations, you successfully made me feel bad. Please do it again." I had this coworker who was a master at this. She'd make these little comments in meetings like, "Oh, I'm sure you did your best on that project, even though it's not quite what we needed." And I'd immediately start explaining myself. Well, actually, I thought the goal was this, and I was trying to accomplish that, and my heart would be racing, and my face would be red, and she'd just sit there with this little smile. Because she won. She made me scramble. She made me feel small. One day, I just stopped reacting. She made another comment, and I looked at her with the most neutral face I could manage and said, "Okay, just okay. Nothing else." She tried again the next week. Something about how I must not care about quality since I turned something in so quickly. I said, "If you say so." Flat voice, blank face. Like I was reading a grocery list, you could see her brain short circuit. Wait, why isn't this working? I said the thing. Where's the panic? Where's the explanation? Within a month, she stopped targeting me completely because I was no fun anymore. I wasn't giving her what she needed. And that's the thing about manipulators. They're like toddlers throwing tantrums. If you give them attention for the tantrum, they keep doing it. If you just stand there and look at them like they're boring, they eventually stop, because what's the point? All right. Second thing, and this one's sneaky. Don't answer trap questions. You know what I'm talking about. Those questions that have no right answer. Why are you always so defensive? Why can't you just be happy for me? Why do you have to make everything about you? These aren't real questions. They're traps. If you try to answer, you lose. If you say, "I'm not defensive," they say, "See, you're getting defensive right now." If you try to explain, they say you're proving my point. It's designed so no matter what you do, you look bad and they look reasonable. What? Yeah, it took me way too long to figure this out. I used to fall for it every single time. Someone would ask, "Why are you being so sensitive?" And I'd spend 20 minutes trying to prove I wasn't sensitive, which of course made me look super sensitive. It was exhausting. Here's what you do instead. When someone asks you a trap question, you have 2 options. Option 1, don't answer at all. Just look at them. Let the silence sit there. Don't fill it, don't explain, don't defend, just silence. It's so uncomfortable for them because they're expecting you to scramble and you're just standing there like you asked me something. Option 2, answer a completely different question. They say, "Why are you always so negative?" You say, "I'm thinking about getting pizza for dinner." They say, "What, that has nothing to do with what I asked." You say, "Yeah, I really want pizza though." It sounds insane, but it works because you're showing them their trap question doesn't deserve your energy. You're not playing. If you do this a few times, they stop asking trap questions because they learn you won't engage. You're not an easy target anymore. Manipulators want people who will twist themselves into knots, trying to prove they're good people. When you just shrug and change the subject, you're basically saying, I don't need to prove anything to you. And that makes them panic. Third thing, and this is where people mess up the most. When you say no to a manipulator and they push back, don't give them different reasons. Become a broken record. Here's what I mean. They ask you for something. You say, no, I can't. They say, why not? You say, because I'm tired. They say you can rest later. Now you're stuck. So you say, well, I also have plans. They say, cancel them. Now you say, well, I don't really want to. They say, so you don't care about me. See what happened? You gave them 3 different reasons and they knocked down each one. Now you look like you're just making excuses and they look like they're being reasonable. Stop doing that. Pick one sentence and say it on repeat like you're a robot with limited vocabulary. Let me give you the exact script. They ask for something. You say, I'm not available. They say, why not? You say, I'm not available. They say, come on, just this once. You say, I'm not available. They say, I thought we were friends. You say, I'm not available. Same words, same tone, every single time. No explanations, no justifications, no reasons. Just I'm not available on loop until they get tired and give up. At first, they'll get frustrated. They might even get angry. Good. That means it's working. They're angry because their usual tricks aren't landing. They can't find a weak spot to exploit. They can't guilt you because you're not explaining why you're saying no. You're just saying no and refusing to engage further. I tried this with a family member who is notorious for bulldozing through my boundaries. She asked me to do something I didn't want to do. I said, I can't make that work. She said, why? What else do you have going on? I said, I can't make that work. She said, you're being selfish. I said, I can't make that work. She huffed and said, fine, and hung up. And you know what? She stopped asking me to do things I didn't want to do because she learned I wasn't going to cave. The broken record technique is brutal, but it's effective. Strong boundaries sound repetitive. Weak boundaries sound like essays. Fourth thing, and this is the one that feels mean, but it's actually the most loving thing you can do for yourself. When someone crosses a line, you disappear. Not forever. Not with a big dramatic announcement. You just pull back. They text you, you're busy. They call, you'll get back to them later. They want to hang out, you have plans, you're not punishing them. You're teaching them something important. Bad behavior means they lose access to you, and access to you is valuable. Your time is valuable. Your energy is valuable. Your presence is valuable. When you immediately remove those things, the second someone treats you poorly, their brain goes, wait, what happened? Where did they go? Did I do something? Most manipulators have never experienced consequences before, because most people keep showing up no matter how badly they're treated. So when you disappear, they panic a little. I had a friend who would make plans with me and cancel last minute constantly. Like I'd get dressed and be heading out the door, and she'd text, sorry, can't make it. And I'd say, oh, okay, no problem, because I didn't want to seem difficult. This happened maybe 15 times. Then one day, I just stopped being available. She'd text to hang out, and I'd say, I'm busy. She'd try again a week later. Busy. A month of this, and she finally said, hey, are you mad at me? And I said, no, I'm just busy. Which was true. I got busy with people who actually respected my time. She tried harder after that. Started actually keeping plans. Started being more reliable. Because she figured out that treating me like an option meant she didn't get access to me anymore. Some people need that consequence to wake up. The ones who care will adjust their behavior. The ones who don't will drift away. Both outcomes are good for you. And here's the fifth thing. This is the nuclear option. Be genuinely happy without them. Not fake happy. Not performative happy. And actually build a life that's so full and good that whether they're in it or not doesn't really matter. When you have your own hobbies and friends and goals, enjoy manipulators lose all their leverage. Because manipulation only works on people who feel empty or lonely or desperate for connection. If you're already complete, what can they offer you? Nothing. And they know it. I used to make certain people my whole social life. If they didn't invite me to something, I'd sit at home feeling left out. If they didn't text me, I'd feel anxious. They had all the power because I needed them more than they needed me. Then I started doing stuff on my own. Joined a book club, started going to the gym, made plans with different people. worked on hobbies I'd been putting off, and something wild happened. The people who used to manipulate me could feel the shift. They'd try their old tricks, and I just didn't care as much because I had other stuff going on. Better stuff. They weren't the center of my world anymore. That's when they either changed how they treated me or they faded out completely. And honestly, both options were fine because my life was good either way. Here's what I need you to understand: manipulators don't target mean people or rude people or selfish people. They target nice people, kind people, people who care about others and don't want to cause problems. That's you. You're not weak, you're not naive, you're not stupid. You just haven't learned how to protect your kindness from people who want to exploit it. But now you know. Stop showing your emotions when they try to upset you. Don't answer their trap questions. Be a broken record with your boundaries. Disappear when they cross lines. Build a life you love with or without them. Do these 5 things and watch what happens. Some manipulators will change their behavior because they realize you're not an easy target anymore. Some will get frustrated and leave. Some will try harder for a while and then give up. And all of those outcomes are wins. You don't need to fight. You don't need to have a big confrontation. You don't need to explain yourself or make them understand. You just show them through your actions that you're not someone they can control. Pick one of these 5 things. Just one. Try it this week. Maybe you'll go blank-faced the next time someone tries to guilt you. Maybe you'll ignore a trap question and talk about pizza instead. Maybe you'll say, I'm not available 17 times in a row until they give up. Just try one. See what happens. Then next week, try another. Keep going. Before long, the manipulators in your life will either be treating you with actual respect or they'll be gone, and your life will be so much quieter and so much better. Here at Cyclipsess, we don't just talk about psychology. We make it make sense. If this helped you, hit subscribe. Because next week, we're breaking down why people who truly value you will never make you feel like you're asking for too much. And trust me, you're going to want to hear that one. Your future self, the one with boundaries, like steel in a life full of people who actually respect you, is already thanking you for watching this. Now go be the most boring target a manipulator has ever tried to mess with. Show them nothing. Give them nothing. Watch them panic. You've absolutely got this.